Welcome to Turning the Page, a Lexington Public Library podcast. I'm Mariam.
And I'm Erin West. If you love the library because of books, the programs, and the people behind both, then this is the podcast for you.
And even if you don't, there's still fun to be had. We will bring you the latest book releases that are worth checking out, figuratively and literally.
And we will discuss all of the happenings at the library to look out for.
And of course, what would a library podcast be without a special guest? We will get to know some special authors that are making an impact on our local literary scene.
Whether you're listening to us in your car while washing dishes or snuggled up with a warm drink, we are grateful for your time and hope you enjoy. Hi everyone, Erin here. Welcome to a special episode of Turning the Page, a live recording of our podcasting program from June 24th with podcast producer, editor, and now author Jennifer Longworth of Bourbon Podcasting. Jennifer and Mariam talk about Jennifer's career in podcasting and her new book, Build a Strong Podcast from Creation to Captivated Audience. Then Jennifer takes questions about podcasting from our live audience. And don't worry, our book recs and program highlights will be back next month.
So welcome everyone to a live recording of our podcast for the library, Turning the Page. I'm Mariam Adarat, the host. I usually host it with Erin West, our editor and producer. And today we have a special guest, Jennifer Longworth. She is the founder of Bourbon Podcasting. Funnily enough, it's not a podcast, it's a company. So she helps creators bring their voices to life. With years of experience in audio and a passion for empowering new podcasters, Jennifer guides aspiring hosts from idea to launch and beyond. When she's not behind the mic or fine-tuning audio, Jennifer shares her expertise through speaking engagements, like this one, workshops, and writing. Her book, Build a Strong Podcast from Creation to Captivated Audience, has been very well received, and it's no surprise. She is on a mission to make podcasting approachable, sustainable, and fun, so one show at a time. Welcome, Jennifer, to our live recording. This is of Turning the Page. This is our very first local author live recording.
Oh, wow.
We did record Nikki Finney before, but you are our first local author.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
thank
I'm
you for
excited.
the invitation.
Awesome. So you're from Lexington.
Yes.
Right? I hear you enjoy a good karaoke.
Good karaoke. Might be going there after this, actually.
Oh, my goodness. So what's your go-to song?
These days, it's Dance Monkey by Tones and I.
Ah, nice one. Yeah, my daughter loves that one.
Yeah.
Lots of dance parties for this one. So in your book, you kind of compare podcasting to bourbon. Tell us why.
Well, we want you to distill your message for a smooth finish so people can enjoy and savor your message. And what we do at Bourbon Podcasting is help you achieve that smoothness that you might not get on your own.
Yeah. Podcasting takes a lot to learn. It's a little, it's kind of, you need to age it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you tell people that are wanting to start a podcast? Where do they start? So a lot of people, I'm sure, reproach you and say, I have no idea where to begin. I just want to start a podcast. I have this idea. Where do they start?
You'd be surprised. Some people don't even have an idea. They just want to start a podcast. And so my first question is why? Why do you want to start a podcast? And if you don't have a good answer to that question, get back with me when you do. And I have had consultation calls with people. I do free consultation calls, and I ask, like, why do you want to have a podcast? Who are you going to speak to in your podcast? And what are you going to talk about? And if you can't figure out the answer to those questions, take a step back and listen to some more podcasts. And there's some people who want to start a podcast who've never even listened to a podcast.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay, what have you listened to? Well, nothing, but somebody told me I need to have a podcast. Oh. So that's why I want to do it. But they don't know the answers to any of the questions. So starting
with some sort of theme or some sort of passion that they have or something like that.
And your why can be a lot of different things. Maybe you just want to have a hobby. You want to talk to cool people, go to cool places, just have a hobby. Some people want to monetize, but realize that takes 3 to 5 years to fully monetize a show.
Yeah.
Unless you already have a big following.
Yeah. And that takes time, of course.
Yes.
Again, like bourbon. So what are some cool podcasts that you've helped start?
So some of the ones I've helped start recently it's called Gallop and Gossip. It's about the horse industry.
Oh, wow.
And then Science and Spirituality for the Curious. And locally, I helped Small Business Bestie and The Wedding Whisperer, Divorce After 50,
Wow.
Boss Babes of the Bluegrass. I work with about 20 shows right now, and I can't shout out all of them because I don't remember.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So what inspired you to start this business? I know your background is in communication. So why podcasting?
Well, I worked for a small independent radio station here locally, and the boss came in one day and said, it was talk radio, get us on iTunes. It's like, get us on iTunes. What does that look like in 2015?
Oh, wow.
I don't know how to get us on iTunes. Well, guess what? It looks a lot like a podcast. So then my job kind of became developing and recording our talk radio shows and turning them into a podcast and RSS feed through a media host. Oh, this is how this works. How do we do it as a network? And then the station sold in 2016. And guess what? I'd already learned how to do podcasting. So then I just naturally got into the industry from there.
Wow. That's luck, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sort of. With a little bit of hard work. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So podcasting has increased in popularity over the past decade, I'd say.
Yeah.
Why do you feel like people are drawn to podcasts or even podcasting? What is it about? I mean, what makes it different than, let's say, talk radio or, radio in general? What is it? What's different about podcasting, and why is it such a draw for people?
Well, it's on demand. That's you could be driving with Jack Patty or Cruiser or whatever, but then they're gone when you turn the radio off. But with the podcast, it's there when you need it, when you want it. And also, it's a very intimate medium because you're probably listening in your car or in your earbuds. I listen at home on my Alexa, but they're in your ears. You get to know the host. It feels more personal than other forms of media.
Sort of like they're talking to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. The way I describe it is like a discussion on your couch or like a therapy session or, depending on what your podcast is about.
Depending on the podcast. Yeah. Absolutely.
So have you figured out what makes an episode so successful or a show so successful?
It's value, providing value, whatever that looks like to the listener. Don't waste the listener's time. Give them something. If that's entertainment, if it's education, Dave Jackson says, laugh, groan, cry, learn something. If you're not making me laugh, cry, groan, or educate me or entertain me, then what's the point?
Yeah. So you want to issue a reaction.
Yeah.
Sort of, yeah. That's really cool. One of the things that some podcasters always talk about is their analytics.
Right.
How important are analytics?
How important are analytics? Well, my mother always used to say, don't compare yourself to other people. Yes. So if you want to look at your analytics to see how you're growing, that's great.
Yeah.
And see trends in your analytics. But if you want to look at your stats every day to see if you're Joe Rogan, I'm sorry. You're not going to get there. So you don't get hung up on them. Look for trends. Look for growth. But don't be like, oh my gosh, nobody to listen. I mean, this room is not full.
Yeah.
But still, the people here are valuable.
Yes.
And even if you have just one listener, you're important to that person. They're important to you. So just appreciate, your one listener.
Yeah.
I had one podcaster I was working with, and she had her podcast for 3 years maybe and was still getting just 15 downloads per episode, but she kept going.
Yeah, because those are
15 people who are invested in her content.
Yeah. The other thing is that when you're starting a podcast, like you said in the beginning, you have to find your why. And if you stay connected to that, I think that's what adds value to your podcast and to your audience that is listening, whether it's just one listener or 100 listeners or et cetera.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about your book.
Okay.
What made you want to write your knowledge or share your knowledge in the form of a book? And what inspired you to sit down and put, pen to paper after your experience with podcasting or teaching people how to podcast?
Well, I answer a lot of the same questions over and over, so that's one thing. So now I have a resource just to hand people. But it was actually with the Chamber of Commerce, Lexington Commerce Lex, and I did an at 3:30 talk for them where I went through my Build a Strong podcast talk, and someone came up to me after that and said, you have a book here, right?
Wow.
And I was like, oh, well, maybe. And then my husband was like, I told you so, and just do it. So I tapped into other podcasters' help and was like, all right, let's move forward with this.
Wow. And so you did.
So I did.
How long did it take you to write it?
Longer than it should have, because I just kind of got stuck here and there and dragged
all
my
writers
feet.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but probably 6 to 9 months start to finish.
Wow. Well, that's actually 6 to 9 months is very fast for a book.
Well, it's nonfiction. If I had to sit down and write a fiction book, I wouldn't be done yet.
Yeah, that's incredible.
So it's more like a brain dump, and then just sitting down and like, oh, today I'm writing about tech. Dump the tech talk, But
Do you allot time in your day for writing, or do you just write on a whim, or is it like a...
probably more on a whim. But then once you get into it and you get focused and you sit down and you're like, okay, I'm doing it, then a few hours go by and that's that.
Yeah.
But that getting to that point is the struggle.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on publishing.
Thank you.
Such a powerful and very valuable resource for podcasters, whether it's local or beyond. What podcasts do you listen to most frequently?
So I like Welcome to Night Vale. It's kind of a creepy audio drama fiction in a desert town. Hard to explain unless you've listened to it. So that's the audio drama part. And I've also liked Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. He tells boring bedtime stories to turn your brain off. So if you're having trouble sleeping at night because he calls them brain bots, and they're just or won't shut up, just turn on Sleep With Me podcast, skip the ads, and then you'll just go right to sleep.
Nice.
With his stories. Yep.
Nice. So the podcasts that I listen to kind of vary in format. So some are like this, question and answer. Some are monologue, and they just, chatting about a topic. Yeah. Some are, kind of take you on a journey. How do people choose the format of the podcast? Like what ideas do you recommend to aspiring podcasters?
I think a lot of it has to do with your topic. One of my long-term clients was Women Changing Leadership, and she was probably 70% solo and 30% interview, but she's trying to set herself up as the expert in that field. Yeah. And if you're seeking to be the thought leader, you need to have a good amount of solo shows where you focus on your knowledge, because when you bring on a guest, then you're focusing on their knowledge and you're sharing their knowledge.
Yeah.
So I have some clients who do interview-based shows because they want to showcase local businesses and attempts to network with those businesses by bringing them on your show. So it goes back to your why again. So if you want thought leadership, you need to do more solo shows. But if you're trying to network with people, maybe you let them have the stage for 30 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, that's really good advice. So from a personal perspective, what do you recommend for somebody that's wanting to start a podcast? What topics to podcast about? what equipment they need to purchase, or whether, do they need to purchase anything that's expensive? What do they need to get started?
Okay, so I recommend you come up with at least 10 topics to talk about, or 10 people to interview, depending on your format. If you cannot come up with 10 different topics or interviews or whatever your direction is, maybe you'd be a better guest for podcasts. So consider guesting instead of launching your own. As far as equipment goes, if you're in Lexington, you can come to the Northside Library Digital Studio. You don't have to buy anything because they've got a brand new shiny studio about to open up and do that. But you can get started with a Samsung Q2U mic. It's about $70 on Amazon, plugs straight into your computer, and that's all you need. If you're still use something like Riverside if you want to do remote interviews. It's in the book. Build a Strong Podcast.
By Jennifer Longworth. At your local bookstore, anywhere you receive your books.
Check it out at the library.
Yes. So it's pretty easy to actually start a podcast, and it's fairly inexpensive. If you are interested in starting a podcast, read Jennifer's book and get started, right?
Absolutely.
Nice.
That's what I tell people now, and they have all the questions. I'm like, I wrote down all the answers for you in one place now. Also available on Kindle.
Yes, it is. Yes, I have it as a Kindle as well. So it's a really good resource if you are wanting to start a podcast. So I want to open up the floor for questions from the audience. So if anybody wants to ask Jennifer a question.
You had talked a little bit about the trends and stats and that type of thing when you're looking at it. Do you have a couple key ones that you prioritize getting going, or just kind of the trends in general?
Well, we want to see upward trends, but you also want to look in your Apple Podcast Connect and Spotify stats, not in your media host, for your the length listened to. I can't remember what it's called, but how long is someone hanging on to your episode? If you have a 30-minute episode and people are dropping off after 5 minutes, what can we do differently? Oh, wait, I see people are hanging on till the 20-minute mark. Or did I have a mid-roll? Did the topic change? When did I lose them? So that's one thing to look at. And then, of course, growth.
So I have a podcast, and I come to the library, and I record it. What's your job?
Oh, great question. So I say if you can hit the big red button on the tech, I can take care of the rest. So you come to the library, you record the podcast, you walk away with a file on a memory stick or whatever. Well, upload that to the cloud, Google Drive, Dropbox, whatever. I go in and get that, and then we enhance the sound quality with some different softwares, just make you sound as best possible audio quality wise. Because I know for me, if the sound quality is bad, you're not going to get me for more than 30 seconds on a podcast. Even if I know you and someone's like, hey, listen to my podcast, 30 seconds is if your sound is bad. So we address that first. Then we put it into, I use Adobe Audition, listen minute by minute, and cut the crap. That's your crutch words, your repetitions, your accidents, and your pregnant pauses. So we cut the crap, we tighten it up, but still make it sound conversational and flowing. It sounds natural, but clean, because you don't want to waste the listener's time. So it's what I do is a service to the listeners as well as the podcasters. And then after we've done that, can add your intro, outro music. If you have an ad you need to drop in the middle, add that in. Whoop, make it all pretty. And then we can upload it to your media host, which creates the RSS feed that sends out to Apple, Spotify, and all the places. Did that answer the question? Now you know what to do, Mom. Hey.
I actually have one. I've noticed a lot lately that podcasts now are also video podcasts. What are your feelings, if any, about that? 'Cause I have strong feelings about it, but
Okay, so I have strong feelings about it too, but I'm trying to overcome them. I'm an audio first person because I've been in the industry for 10 years now, and so the video part is only the past 3 years or so. And part of it is because YouTube is the second largest search engine after Google. So you need to be on YouTube if you want to be found.
Yeah.
But people aren't as likely to consume the whole show on YouTube as they are audio. It's a different person who's going to watch in air quotes, because podcasts, the beauty of them is that you don't have to watch. You can just listen and do other things.
Yeah.
That's why we like them. And if it's just a talking head, what are you watching anyway? I don't know. I'm not a YouTube consumer, usually, unless I'm trying to fix something. And then I'll go to YouTube. How do you fix the blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But coming from Podcast Movement and PodFest conferences this year, all about video.
Yeah.
All about video. And what I've seen from certain clients is that you may get a handful of views on your long form. You'll get 100 times as many on your short form.
Okay.
So focus on your reels, on your shorts, whatever they're called, on whatever platform, your little snippets, and try to drive people to the full length. But as far as long term, if you're just doing long form, good luck. Use Opus Clip or some other system to cut it into shorts and put your shorts out there.
In terms of audience, though, is there like an audience member that is watching your show on YouTube? Are they going to listen to it on podcast format, or is it like
Not
a unique?
likely.
Yeah,
They're unique.
yeah, that's what I figured. I feel like if you're a YouTube person, you're a YouTube person. If you're a podcast person, you're a podcast person. So. Now I'm interested in Aaron's opinion about video.
It's really much the same. I thought the beauty of a podcast was that you didn't have to look at people to get the information.
Right.
Or even as someone who's behind the microphone, be looked at. I know we've had guests that have been like, is this going to be video? Like, no, it isn't. They were like, oh, okay, great. Then I'd love to come on.
Then I'll do it, right?
Yeah. So yeah, my feeling is that it's two distinct things. Like a YouTube video, that's a talk show. That's an interview. A podcast is, like Mariam was talking about, more intimate. It's audio only. It's a solo experience most of the time. So, it's a completely different thing, and I don't like them being called the same thing.
It's a YouTube video. It's not a podcast.
Right.
Exactly.
I've decided that's not a hill I'm going to die on, and I have opened up the business to accept video clients.
Because
people want it, but actually, out of my 20 clients, only one of them does video successfully.
Okay. Wow. That's incredible. So, Bourbon Barrel podcasting is your baby.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit more about the business itself and the brains behind it.
Well, the name, I'll tell you where the name came from, because
Please do.
I went to Podcast Movement 2018 or something like that and wore the T-shirt with the state of Kentucky on it that says home, right? Yeah. People asked me where I was from. And I was like, wait a minute. And I'm like, it's on my shirt. And they didn't know what the state of Kentucky looked like. So I was like, well, how do I represent Kentucky beyond just the state on my shirt or hat, which is not resonating?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't want to be Cardinal, Wildcat, Bluegrass, or Thoroughbred. So what else do we have that resonates with people? Bourbon. But at the time, I was not a bourbon drinker. So Bourbon Barrel, because there's more bourbon barrels in Kentucky than there are people. So that's where the name came from, and it works. People get it immediately. Oh, Kentucky, bourbon. Are you from Kentucky? Oh, I get it. So... And it's intriguing. You're like, oh, what do you talk about on your bourbon podcast? I'm like, nothing. I don't have a bourbon podcast.
So you just help people start a podcast. You don't have a podcast.
I host a podcast for my church, but I don't have my own podcast.
Yeah.
So I am behind the mic, and I'm like a serial podcaster. I've hosted like 4 different shows. but currently just my church podcast.
Yeah.
And people are like, are you going to relaunch the other shows? Maybe someday. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Time hasn't been
So
right
you
yet.
should.
Yeah.
You should. You have monthly meetups
Yes.
for local podcasters. Tell us a little bit more about those meetups and when people can gather to meet you.
Yeah, the third Monday of every month, the Lexington podcasters get together. Third Monday at 11:30 for lunch. People have asked if we do something outside of lunchtime. We have occasionally, but the lunch group is consistent.
Yeah.
And we currently meet at the Cellar Bar and Grill on Lansdowne. So third Monday, 11:30, the Cellar.
Nice. So
And we have a Facebook group.
okay. So
So find us
just
on
keep in
Facebook.
touch through Facebook.
Lexington Podcasters.
Lexington podcasters. And do they need to like RSVP or?
That's nice. We usually put up an event on Facebook, and I'm trying to do it on LinkedIn when I remember, because some people aren't on Facebook. And then just RSVP because the seller wants to know numbers now.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Make sure you have enough space for people.
Right.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us, Jennifer. It's
Thank
been
you.
lovely. We hope to have you again on the podcast.
I'd love to.
Yeah. For your next book.
For my next book. I know people are like, okay, when's the next one coming out? I'm like, oh, I'm trying to figure that out.
Well, you know, once you write a book, you can't stop.
It's like tattoos, right?
Exactly. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Turning the Page with Jennifer Longworth, author of Build a Strong Podcast. Thank you. Thank you for tuning into Turning the Page. If you enjoyed listening, there will be more to come, so please give us a follow so that you don't miss the next episode.
We're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts.